Hi, my name is Kayla McRoy. I am a psychology major, naval science minor from Blakely, Georgia. And today my presentation is going to be on the history of military cadences. The overall purpose of this presentation is to introduce the historical context of the origins of cadence, understand the musical parameters of its performance, and attempt to understand its impact on military culture. So what are cadences? Cadences or chants are call and response marching songs that are sung by military personnel during drill and ceremony. Some forms of drill include marching around base or running around base in formation. Some methods of ceremony include being performed at, let's say, a promotion. It is often said that they originated in 1943. However, I address those claims in this presentation. Cadences are typically used during training evolutions. Where it is used to help resocialize trainees, motivate them, and instill mental fortitude within them. The lyrics of the cadences are often about military history, culture, and old tales. However, cadences have a history of being homophobic and racist. So where did it all begin? There's not much scholarly work that's been done in studying military cadences from a musical standpoint. However, there are two well-known lineages of marching cadences, from Euro-American war songs and West African call and response tradition. Here I have an example of West African call and response, and I just want you to note how this may sound similar to the cadences that you'll later hear in my presentation. That's the first one. So this is an example of West African call and response, which is from Masai Mara, Kenya. So now to further explore the history of cadences, I want to introduce you to the topic of African American work songs. Work songs have been used for centuries to lift up the people who are performing labor. They were used to synchronize the workers and to help them perform more effectively. They're very common among the slaves who worked in harsh conditions. So you can see how the African tradition has made its way to the United States through slavery, and that has shown up in military cadences. Much like cadences, work songs were often used to distract the workers so they don't focus on their pain or strenuous work. So when you're running, and you're yelling, that's used as a distraction so that you don't go internal and just fall out of the run. Now I will explain the musical elements of military cadences and African American work songs so that we can kind of get a feel of how the two are similar. The two are similar by antiphony. Both military cadences and work songs use antiphony or call and response. Antiphony is a style of singing where the leader sings the call and responded to or echoed by another person or other people the response, making it a call and response song. So here is a drill instructor putting some soul into his army soldiers.
Put your weapon next to mine. Hey, right on down the line. Hey, right on down the line. Come on over. Come on over. War's not over. War's not over. So put your weapon next to mine. So put your weapon next to mine. Hey, right on down the line. Hey, right on down the line. I shot.
I love his voice. So amazing. But in this video, you can note how he's the caller and the unit of soldiers are his responders. So every time he says something, they then repeat. This is an example of a traditional military cadence that has been around the U.S. for quite some time. However, now I'm going to introduce you to an African American work song that will also allow you to see the antiphony within it. So that was an African American work song, believe it or not, about a woman who stands outside of a prison gate as these men work, and they're just talking about how they can't touch her, and they long for that. But both of these songs or both of these cadences or call and response modes of music feature call and response, and how there is one main voice that calls a response, and then that calls for a response, and then the group responds as a whole. So tempo and volume in both military cadences and African American work songs. The tempo functions to keep one sound unit all working together. It controls the speed at which the soldiers or Marines and sailors would run, and also would control the speeds at which the African Americans working on slave yards would strike their hoes or dig and things like that. So it pretty much lays the foundation for the entire cadence, so that the unit can work more effectively and together. In fact, there was a study done by Jason, and he found that with an increased cadence, the more push-ups that soldiers were able to perform. So with that, you can infer that the slower cadence, the slower the work, or the slower the run. The faster the cadence, the faster the work, the faster the run. And throughout much of the cadences and the call and response African American work songs, the volume of the song remains relatively the same. This creates a homophony, as all the other voices, when they come in, they just kind of meld together. The cadence caller controls the dynamic of the cadence. The louder he or she gets, the louder the unit becomes and the more motivated they become. Typically, there are only two instruments used, which are the voice, not the face, excuse me, and the percussion is created from the stomping of feet. And typically, whenever you're calling cadence, you call it always on the left foot. The military doesn't have much history on why the left. It emphasizes the left in all of its workouts. Like whenever you're working out, everything starts with the left. So you do your left arm first, your left foot first. So whenever you're calling cadence, the cadence is dependent on when the left foot strikes the ground. So that's when you hear the. So whenever this happens, typically the left foot is striking. You're depending on that left foot whenever you're calling your cadence. So now at this point in my presentation, I want you to sing a cadence or a working song. So you're going to start by stomping your left foot, then your right. I'm going to stand up now and try to do my clapping with my hands. So here we go. You're going to start by stomping your left foot, then your right. And as your left foot strikes the deck, you say left, left, left. Now mix it up. Left, right, left, left, right, left, left, right, left. And as you continue, you want to add phrases that go along with the tempo that you've set for your cadence. So now I'm going to speed mine up because I have a song in mind that I'd like to do. Left, left, lefty, right, left. Lefty, right, left. Left, keep it in step. Low, right, left. Lefty, right, left. Low, right, left. We love to double time, cause we do it all the time. Mama, mama, can't you see what the Corps has done to me? So every time